日本時間7月21日、ロサンゼルス、ドジャースの大谷翔平選手が右膝の炎症悪化に伴い、当面の間マウンドでの登板を回避することが発表されました。大谷選手は、今季投手としては、地活自敗、防御率1、79、95奪三振、さらには平均を大きく上回る、ERR プラスに130味という圧倒的な成績を残しており、この離脱により NL の MVP レースの2分けに注目が集まっています。これに対し、対抗馬とされるカブスのピート、クロー、アームストロング選手が、翔平を引きずり下ろしたいが、オフに、ピッチングラボにでも通ってクローザーになるしかないと半分諦めたような驚きの発言をし、米メディアも大谷の打者専念でも、MVP は揺るがないと分析しています。ここからは、その様子を字幕付きでご紹介します。
2026 will not be the year that we see Shohei Ohtani win a Cy Young Award on the mound. Our fears have come true. The knee issue is a bit of a bigger issue than we thought. And what is coming out of Dodgers camp is that Shohei Ohtani will not pitch again for some time. What does that mean? We don't exactly know. But what we do know, as I said the other day, my caution flags were starting to go up. Last outing of the first half, he didn't end up pitching. He got scratched from that, and then we heard he was going to have a little bit of a procedure on his knee over the All-Star break to drain some fluid, get some fluid out of there. He ended up having a bit of a different operation, but something did happen. So then coming out of the All-Star break, he was not scheduled to pitch in that 3-game series against the New York Yankees, and my caution flags start to raise a little bit of, okay, maybe he just needed a little more time. And then I said, if he doesn't pitch against the Phillies, if he's not scheduled in this coming series against the Phillies, something's wrong, and I will be worried. And he is not scheduled to pitch against the Phillies, and something is wrong, and I am worried. Now, I'm not worried long term. I'm just worried because we're not going to get to see Shohei on the mound for a while. The knee issue is a concern. Dave Roberts said this: the benefits don't seem to outweigh the cost at this time in the season. So there's no set date for his next start. We just want to continue to give the knee the best chance to get in a good spot. Now, what does that mean? How long is it going to be? I don't know. Do we have ourselves a new race in the National League for the MVP award? We'll discuss that. Also, Tarek Skubal, what is going on with that trade? The Boston Red Sox are on an absolute surge. The New York Mets can't win games, and it appears they might clean ship all over again. And it's Monday, and we have new and improved Major League Baseball power rankings. It's flipping bats. So do we have ourselves a race in the National League for MVP? Pete Crow Armstrong was having a fantastic year before this news. He's continued to have a fantastic year. The conversation started to creep in of, is there a world in which Pete Crow Armstrong wins the National League MVP going up against Shohei Ohtani? Now, this news comes out that Shohei isn't going to pitch for how long? We don't exactly know. Are we talking about weeks? Are we talking about a month? Are we talking about until the playoffs? We don't exactly know. Those words say that the pros don't outweigh the cons. To me, says he could go. If it were the playoffs, he would be going, but there's no point right now. But the pros, in my mind, are Shohei winning a Cy Young Award, Shohei continuing to have maybe the greatest season of all time, and just allowing people to see what Shohei Ohtani can do. So now that he's not pitching, it really levels the playing field with a Pete Crow Armstrong. So my thoughts on this is, for anyone that for 1 second thinks the MVP award is now up for grabs, you're wrong. It's not. It's absolutely not up for grabs. Before this news that he wasn't going to pitch, quote, for a little while, he was minus 1,500 on FanDuel Sportsbook to win National League MVP. And as he sits right now, it's minus 1,500 on FanDuel Sportsbook to win the National League MVP. Here's my thoughts. Now, Pete Crow Armstrong's having a fantastic year. And when I say if there's anyone that thinks they can dethrone Shohei, you're wrong. Well, honestly, if you're Pete Crow Armstrong, I love that. and I love the thought process. And you are having a fantastic year and maybe the best defensive player in all of baseball. And if there's anyone that can do it, it is him this year. And he talked about it. He talked about wanting to win the MVP award in the National League. And he said, I would love to dethrone Shohei, but I don't know how to do it unless I go to a pitching lab in the offseason. I'll be a closer or something and see how that helps my odds. So now that Shohei, let's just step back and call it the rest of the regular season. I do not believe that to be the case because I do believe if that was the case, he wouldn't be ready for the playoffs. I think, I'm not a doctor, I don't know. I'm thinking a month or so. But let's just, for the sake of argument, say he doesn't pitch again in the regular season. That puts him head to head offensively with Pete Crow Armstrong. Just offensively, okay? Pete Crow Armstrong's hitting 284 with 21 homers and 53 RBIs right now. Shohei Ohtani hitting 290, higher, 22 homers, higher, 60 RBIs, higher. Defensively, no longer in the same playing field. Pete Crow Armstrong's the best defensive center fielder in the game of baseball. He's absolutely unbelievable defensively. Huge edge there to Pete Crow Armstrong. That is true. But what you cannot do is just forget that if Shohei doesn't pitch again this entire season, he finishes the year sitting at 8-2 with a 1.79 ERA, 95 strikeouts, and a whip under 1. An ERA plus of 233. 100 is league average. That's a half of a year of a pitcher with some of the most dominant statistics you will ever find. So I don't exactly think I don't think there's a race for the NL MVP award. I am hoping and praying that nothing happens to Shohei offensively, because if he gets hurt, which, by the way, the series against the Yankees, there's a play, ends up with it. And that is Pete Crow Armstrong on the NL MVP award.
今回の発表で最も重要なのは、ドジャースの首脳陣が目先の勝利や個人のタイトルよりも10月のポストシーズンでの健康状態を最優先したという戦略的判断です。大谷選手は今季、開幕からスプリッターやスイーパーといった多彩な球種、ピッチデザインを駆使し、防御率1、79、WHIP1、00未満という異次元の投球を見せていました。しかし、直近試合では防御率が3点台後半から4点台に落ち込んでおり、膝の炎症が投球のリリースポイントや蹴り出しのパワーに影響を与えていたことは明白です。セイバーメトリクスの観点で見ても、FIP 守備から独立した防御率、野奪三振率の推移からも、一時的なシャットダウン、登板回避、派遣明なリスク管理と言えます。一方で、打者として打率、290、22本塁打、60打点、現時点を記録し、OPS やWARでも他を圧倒しているため、マウンドに立たずとも NL MVP の最有力候補である事実は揺らぎません。カブスの新星ピート、クロー、アームストロング選手が吐露した本音は、現在の大谷選手がいかにメジャーの選手たちにとって規格外の存在であるかを象徴しています。ドジャースの地区優勝がほぼ確実な中、この膝のケアが秋にどのような実を結ぶのか、非常に興味深い局面です。皆さんは、ドジャースが大谷の登板を回避させたこの判断について、そして打者専念となった大谷の MVP 受賞についてどう考えますか？大谷翔平選手の登板回避の判断や、打者専念での MVP 獲得について、皆さんはどう考えますか？ぜひコメント欄で、皆さんの予想や意見をお聞かせください。この動画が面白かった方は、ぜひ高評価とチャンネル登録をよろしくお願いいたします。それでは、また次回の動画でお会いしましょう。